What's Morales from Black from TV? Here we are, season two. Obviously the first season was really great. A lot of people talked about it. Coming into the second season, how much of an impact did the first season give you in terms of how you wanted to map out season two? Stephen?
Um, Hi Wilson. A roadmap. Well, I think luckily for us, the roadmap was given in terms of the scope of the stories that we would be telling. And so it's sort of like coloring in between the lines. Much easier to do that than create the boundaries. So this is really just an expression of High on the Hog, the book, and the stories are reflective of that.
When it comes to the research, there's a lot that goes into, telling the story about where these things come from and how they go about. Is that could be challenging in terms of trying to pick out the right people to tell these stories? Dr. Jessica?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of I keep quoting Stevie Wonder these days, which is you better tell your story well, because if you lie, it will come to pass. I think the whole idea of finding the stories is important, but sometimes you don't have to look terribly far, as Stephen proves in, the second series, particularly in the Chicago and the New York and the Atlanta episodes where he is connected to food. So research certainly begins at home and then spreads out to places you'd never imagine.
Stephen, what did you want to focus more on? Location, story, or food?
Um, well, I mean, there's a lot of shared stakeholders in those decisions, but for me, my way in is always about food, and that has been instructive, insightful, and has allowed us to think more deeply and show more critically the expression of a city, for instance, and the people who are in those cities and have shaped those cities by using food as a way to tell their stories and many other ones, our stories too.
Talent can never stop learning, no matter what they do. So, as you guys were doing this journey of exploring different cities and history, how much did you learn in the process? Not as storytellers, but just learning what throughout the cities and the people you spoke with. Dr. Jessica?
Well, I guess in the writing of the book, there were just so much to learn. I am a northerner by birth, so learning about different parts of the South, different parts of the West, the Midwest, the Far West, all of that was part of my learning curve. Um, just kind of seeing what the country was in its breadth and depth and where we fit into that, which is pretty much everywhere.
Stephen? In terms of
Yeah,
answering how much you've learned, throughout the process?
I know nothing. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. That's what every time I talk to anyone, that's how I feel. I have been called an expert, but never by myself. And so, I think it's a thing that is humbling, but it's also what keeps me going. Sometimes we have lessons that we need to be taught multiple times. Sometimes we have stories that we need to hear a couple times so that it really lets us get the message, so that it really sinks in. And so it's always a pleasure for me to be in conversation with Black elders, especially talking about food, talking about our history. And I'm doing the best I can to retain that, to revisit that knowledge, and to broadcast that knowledge.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, with I always say there's a glut of programs out there, and it's about the marketing of every show to let people know about the visibility that it's out there. What is the sell to see in this series when it comes out, because like I said, we have options out there, so like we have to let people know about the show. What do you tell people, Stephen?
What do I tell people? Well, it probably depends on who I'm talking to, but I think broadly speaking, I would share my own personal philosophy, which is that food is so much more than a means of survival. Food is the story of human beings. And if you're interested in people, if you're interested in literally anything people have ever done or been a part of or believe, then whether or not you care to admit it, you're interested in food. And that is the perspective that we take. We take some unassuming paths to historical and contemporary figures. And then if you are a Black person, I would say that before High on the Hog, there was never a show like it. And that, the reason it meant so much to so many people is because of the support that was expressed for the show. And in order for more shows like High on the Hog that we don't even yet know exist, this is an important part of that continuing support.
Congratulations on the second season. Job well done. Take care.
Thank you very much.
So much.